يا مساء الأنهار دم الشهداء دم الأبرار دم الأطهار دم الأبطال نوري نوري يا كنيسة المسيح نوري القديسين الشهداء لبسوا التيجان والأكاليل الأكاليل يا رب احفظ لينا إيماننا واحرس لينا بطرتنا نوري 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 يا كنيسة المسيح نوري نوري نوري. فصل من إنجيل معلمنا ماري لوقا الإنجيل البشير والتلميذ الطاهر بركاته علينا آمين. خلينا نصلي مع بعض بصوت واحد. ولما قام من المجمع دخل بيت سمعان، وكانت حماة سمعان قد أخذتها حمى شديدة، فسألوه من أجلها، فوقف فوقها وانتهر الحمى، فتركتها وفي الحال قامت وصارت تخدمهم. وعند غروب الشمس كان كل الذين عندهم أمراض كثيرة يقدمونهم إليه، وأما هو فكان يضع يديه على كل واحد منهم فيشفيهم. وكانت الشياطين أيضا تخرج من كثيرين وهي تصرخ وتقول: أنت هو المسيح ابن الله. فكان ينتهرهم ولا يدعهم ينطقون، لأنهم كانوا قد عرفوه أنه هو المسيح، والمجد الله دائما أبديا آمين. تين أشتي بالخائن تنتي أناستاسي سنتيني رثمو نمبي أن خنتيني أناسنيو آمين. نصلي مع بعض. إذا كان الصديق بالجهد يخلص، فأين أظهر أنا الخاطئ؟ ثقل النهار وحر لم أحتمل لضعف بشريتي، لكن أنت يا الله الرحوم احسبني مع أصحاب الساعة 11، لأني ها أنا ذا بالآثام وبالخطايا ولدتني أمي. فما أقصر أن أنظر إلى علو السماء، لكني أتكل على غنى رحمتك ومحبتك للبشرية، صارخا قائلا: اللهم اغفر لي أنا الخاطئ وارحمني. ذوك سابتري كايوكي أجيوب نفماتي. أسرع لي مخلص بفتح الأحضان الأبوية، لأني أفنيت عمري في اللذات والشهوات، وقد مضى من النهار وفات. فالآن أتكل على غنى رأفتك التي لا تفرغ. فلا تتخلى عن قلب خاشع مفتكر إلى رحمتك، لأني إليك أصرخ يا رب بتخشع. أخطأت يا أبتاه في السماء وقدامك، ولست مستحقا أن أدعى لك ابنا، بل اجعلني كأحد أجرائك. كانين كآين كستوسي ستوني أونان آمين. لكل إثم بحرص ونشاط فعلت، ولكل خطية بشوق واجتهاد ارتكبت، ولكل عذاب وحكم استوجبت. فهيئي لي أسباب التوبة أيتها السيدة العذراء، فإليك أتضرع بك أستشفع. إياك أدعو أن تساعديني لئلا أخزى، وعند مفارقة نفسي من جسدي احضري عندي. لأمارات أعداء اهزمي، ولأبواب الجحيم اغلقي، لئلا يبتلع نفسي عروس بالعيب الختن الحقيقي. قدوس الله، قدوس القوي، قدوس الحي الذي لا يموت، الذي ولد من العذراء ارحمنا. قدوس الله، قدوس القوي، قدوس الحي الذي لا يموت، الذي صلب عنا ارحمنا. قدوس الله، قدوس القوي، قدوس الحي الذي لا يموت، الذي قام من الأموات وصعد إلى السماوات ارحمنا. المجد للآب والابن والروح القدس، الآن وكل أوان وإلى دهر الدهور آمين. أيها الثالوث القدوس ارحمنا، أيها الثالوث القدوس ارحمنا، أيها الثالوث القدوس ارحمنا. يا رب اغفر لنا خطايانا، يا رب اغفر لنا آثامنا، يا رب اغفر لنا ذلتنا. يا رب افتقد مرضى شعبك، اشفيهم من أجل اسمك القدوس. أبائنا وإخوتنا الذين رقدوا، يا رب نيح نفوسهم. يا من هو بلا خطية يا رب ارحمنا، يا من بلا خطية يا رب أعنا. اقبل طلبتنا إليك، لأن لك المجد والعزة والتقديس المثلث. يا رب ارحمنا، يا رب ارحم، يا رب بارك آمين. أبانا الذي في السماوات، تقدس اسمك، ليأتي ملكوتك، تكن مشيئتك كما في السماء. خبزنا كفافنا أعطينا اليوم، اغفر لنا ذنوبنا كما نغفر نحن أيضا للمذنبين إلينا، لا تدخلنا في تجربة لكن نجينا من الشرير. مسيح يسوع ربنا، لأن لك الملك والقوة والمجد إلى الأبد آمين. السلام لك نسألك أيتها القديسة الممتلئة مجدا، العذراء كل حين، والدة الإله، أم المسيح. اسعدي صلواتك يا ابن الحبيب ليغفر لنا خطايانا. السلام للتي ولدت لنا النور الحقيقي، المسيح إلهنا، العذراء القديسة. اسألني ربنا ليصنع معنا نفوسنا واغفر لنا خطايانا. أيتها العذراء مريم والدة الإله، القديسة الشفيعة الأمينة الجنس البشرية، اشفعي فينا أمام المسيح الذي ولدتيه لكي ينعم علينا بغفران خطايانا. السلام لك أيتها العذراء القديسة الملكة الحقيقية. السلام لفخر جنسنا، ولدت لنا عمانوئيل. نسألك اذكرينا أيتها الشفيعة المؤتمنة أمام ربنا يسوع المسيح ليغفر لنا خطايانا. نعظمك يا أم النور الحقيقي، نمجدك أيتها العذراء القديسة والدة الإله، لأنك ولدت لنا مخلص العالم، أتى وخلص نفوسنا. المجد لك يا سيدنا وملكنا المسيح، فخر الرسل، إكليل الشهداء، تهليل الصديقين، ثبات الكنائس، غفران الخطايا. نبشر بالثالوث القدوس لاهوت واحد، نسجد له ونمجده. يا رب ارحم، يا رب ارحم، يا رب بارك آمين. بالحقيقة نؤمن بإله واحد، الله الآب ضابط الكل، خالق السماء والأرض، ما يرى وما لا يرى. نؤمن برب واحد يسوع المسيح، ابن الله الوحيد، المولود من الآب قبل كل الدهور، نور من نور، إله حق من إله حق، مولود غير مخلوق، مساوي للآب في الجوهر، الذي به كان كل شيء. هذا الذي من أجلنا نحن البشر ومن أجل خلاصنا نزل من السماء، تجسد من الروح القدس، مريم العذراء تأنس، صلب عنا على عهد بيلاطس البنطي، تألم وكبر وقام من الأموات في اليوم الثالث كما في الكتب، صعد إلى السماوات، جلس عن يمين أبيه، وأيضا يأتي في مجده ليدين الأحياء والأموات، الذي ليس لممكنه انقضاء. نعم نؤمن بالروح القدس الرب المحيي المنبثق من الآب، نسجد له مع الآب والابن الناطق في الأنبياء، كنيسة واحدة مقدسة جامعة رسولية، نعترف معمودية واحدة لمغفرة الخطايا، وننتظر ننتظر قيامة الأموات وحياة الدهر الآتي. آمين. يا حامل خطايا العالم اسمعنا وارحمنا واغفر لنا خطايانا. آمين. كيريا ليسون كيريا ليسون يا رب ارحم. كيريا ليسون كيريا ليسون اسمعنا وارحمنا. كيريا ليسون كيريا ليسون ارحمنا يا الله. كيريا ليسون كيريا ليسون يا رب ارحم. كيريا ليسون كيريا ليسون اسمعنا وارحمنا. كيريا ليسون كيريا ليسون ارحمنا يا الله. كيريا ليسون كيريا ليسون كيريا ليسون كيريا ليسون كيريا ليسون. قدوس 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 رب الصباؤوت، السماء والأرض مملوءتان من مجدك وكرامتك. ارحمنا يا الله الآب ضابط الكل. أيها الثالوث القدوس ارحمنا. أيها الرب إله القوات كن معنا، لأنه ليس لنا معين في شدائدنا وضيقاتنا سواك. حل واغفر واصفح لنا يا الله عن سيئاتنا التي صنعناها بإرادتنا والتي صنعناها بغير إرادتنا، التي فعلناها بمعرفة والتي فعلناها بغير معرفة، الخفية والظاهرة. يا رب اغفر لنا من أجل اسمك القدوس الذي دعا علينا كرحمتك يا رب، وليس كخطايانا. اللهم اجعلنا مستحقين أن نقول بشكر أبانا الذي في السماوات، تقدس اسمك، يأتي ملكوتك، تكن مشيئتك. خبزنا كفافنا أعطينا اليوم، اغفر لنا ذنوبنا كما نغفر نحن أيضا للمذنبين إلينا، لا تدخلنا يا رب في تجربة لكن نجينا من الشرير. مسيح يسوع ربنا، لأن لك الملك والقوة والمجد للأبد. آمين. نصلي التحليل مع بعض بصوت واحد. نشكرك يا مالكنا المتحنن لأنك منحتنا أن نعبر هذا اليوم بسلام، وأتيت بنا إلى المساء شاكرين، وجعلتنا مستحقين أن ننظر النور إلى المساء. اللهم اقبل تمجيدنا هذا الذي صار الآن، ونجنا من حال مضاد، وابطل سائر فخاخه المنصوبة لنا. هب لنا في هذه الليلة المقبلة سلامة بغير ألم ولا قلق، لا تعب ولا خيال، نجتازه أيضا بسلام وعفاف، وننهض للتسبيح والصلوات في كل حين في كل مكان، نمجد اسمك القدوس في كل شيء مع الآب غير المدرك ولا المبتدئ والروح القدس المحيي المساوي لك الآن وكل أوان وإلى دهر الدهور. آمين. ارحمنا 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 يا الله الآب، يا ضابط الكل ارحمنا 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 يا الله مخاطب ارحمنا ارحمنا يا الله ثم رحمنا يا رب ارحم. يا من في كل وقت وفي كل ساعة في السماء وعلى الأرض مسجود له ممجد المسيح إلهنا الصالح الطويل الروح الكثير الرحمة الذي يحب الصديقين ويرحم الخطاة الذين أولهم أنا الذي لا يشاء موت الخاطئ مثل ما يرجع ويحيا الداعي الكل إلى الخلاص لأجل الموعد بالخيرات المنتظرة. يا رب اقبل منا في هذه الساعة وكل ساعة البطنة، سهل حياتنا، ارشدنا إلى العمل بوصاياك، قدس أرواحنا، طهر أجسامنا، قوم أفكارنا، نقي نياتنا، اشفي أمراضنا، اغفر خطايانا، نجينا من كل حزن رديء وجع القلب. أحطنا ملائكة القديسين لكي نكون معسكرهم محفوظين ومرشدين لنصل إلى اتحاد الإيمان إلى معرفة مجدك غير المحسوس وغير المحدود، فإنك مبارك إلى الأبد آمين. هناخد نص دقيقة كل واحد يرفع قلبه لربنا من أجل سلام الكنيسة، من أجل وحدة الكنيسة. كل واحد يصلي من أجل سلام الكنيسة ووحدة الكنيسة. ربنا يبعد عنا محاربات عدو الخير. كل واحد يصلي من أجل نفسه، من أجل أسرته، من أجل عيلته. أي طلبات شخصية يرفعها لربنا دلوقتي. أخيرا يا رب اختم على طلباتنا بدم ابنك الوحيد وبأنات الروح القدس اللي بيشفع فينا، بصلوات أمك العذراء مريم أولا وأخيرا، بصلوات يا رب كل مصاف قديسيك اللي بيصلوا من أجلنا تحت عرشك القدوس. جعلنا يا رب مستحقين أن نكون لك بكل الشكر. أبانا الذي في السماوات ليتقدس اسمك، ليأتي ملكوتك، تكن مشيئتك كما في السماء كذلك على الأرض. خبزنا الذي للغد أعطينا اليوم، اغفر لنا ذنوبنا كما نغفر نحن أيضا للمذنبين إلينا، لا تدخلنا في تجربة لكن نجينا من الشرير، بالمسيح يسوع ربنا، لأن لك الملك والقوة والمجد إلى الأبد آمين. سلام، ازاي اخبارك؟ شكرا لخدمتك، تعيش.
الحمد لله على سلامتك يا جورج. اللي ما كانش معانا السنه اللي فاتت وجورج من سان فرانسيسكو، هو ابني ومعلمي في نفس الوقت، وانا مش عارفه اقدم، انا مش بعرف اتكلم كويس، هي فالي هتقدم، بس كنت عايزه باسم ابونا، هو بيعتذر غصب عنه يا جورج، جات له ظروف يا جورج، ابونا غصب عنه جات له ظروف مش قادر يجي ولما كراس طبعا بيوصل لك سلام وان شاء الله نشوفك في الويك اند ده. طيب يا فالي هو كان مدرس مدارس الاحد فهو اللي هتقول.
All right. Good evening, everybody. So I have the pleasure and the blessing of introducing George in just a couple seconds so he can talk the rest of the night. But as you guys all know, and you've seen him, he's traveled all the way from San Francisco today. He studied in a background of psychology and philosophy, and he's been really doing this ministry of apologetics or defending the Christian faith for over 15 years. And he's been traveling the world, you know, teaching people in different monasteries and just churches, and we're very blessed to have him here with us today. He's also, most recently, since he was last here, actually written a book called Timeless Truth in Truthless Time. So if anybody wants a copy of that book, let us know. And George just really holds a dear place in my heart and in many of the youth's heart as he's touched all of our lives. And so I pray that we all get the blessing today from his talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Can I ask you for a favor? Sorry, forgive me. Can we all be on one side, either all on this side or on this side? Malish, I'm going to have to get you up. Can you, so that we can all be together. Hello. How are you? Okay. So thank you for the introduction, Vali, and thank you, Santa Samia. I'm honored and really blessed to be with you this evening and this weekend, coming to take your blessings and Abuna's blessings and his grace's blessings and just your presence. That is a blessing for me. I was with you. I don't know how many of you were here with me 2 years ago. I remember you, and you were also with, okay, this was exactly June 2017, so almost 2 years ago exactly. I was with you, and it was such a wonderful, blessed weekend that I had with you. Always an honor to come and see my, I want to say my extended family, Tant Samia and Uncle Peter and Vali and Ruby and Tant Afef and Sally and Andrew. All of this is my extended family I consider from San Francisco. And it's also a blessing to come and see you again. I'll give you a quick overview of what we will cover this weekend, and specifically what we will cover this evening. Sounds good? So far? We didn't say anything yet. The weekend. So we'll begin, as you can see on the screen, we'll begin this evening discussing challenges, or addressing challenges from our current culture, challenges that we have about our faith, or attacks on our faith, and how we can address these challenges. All sorts of challenges, we'll get into specifics as we proceed. First of all, let me ask, is it okay to speak in English exclusively, or do you want to do a little bit of Arabic as well? A little bit of English only, or a mix? English only, okay, I hear English only, okay, maybe a couple of words here and there. And then, God willing, tomorrow we will be discussing more so how to address the challenges. So tonight we will talk about the challenges, and tomorrow we will discuss the response. How can we address these challenges? And what I would like you to do, to help me out and to help everyone out, is to prepare questions as we speak. Think of questions that either you have or have been asked. أسئلة أنت عندك أسئلة أو حد سألك أسئلة and you don't have an answer for. So we can discuss these questions and collectively, so we can all learn from one another. Okay? Sounds good? Because this is a conversation time, and I want to make sure you raise your hand, interrupt, and speak up. Meshi? Shall we dive into the subject? Addressing the challenge. I'll begin with asking a question. And if this works, it'll be better. Hold on. Oops. There you go. So the question is this. Christianity, and I don't know if we can do the zoom out on the, if you know where the TV monitor is, Malish, if you can just zoom out, that would be great. Thank you so much. Christianity and her moral values have undoubtedly been under vicious attacks in recent years. True or false? True. Obviously, true. Yes. Thank you so much. There you go. These anti-Christian attacks, I'm just speaking generally, the challenges again that we are facing in today's world. These attacks have channeled their way through so many different areas. Through the media, politics, the academic arena, science, entertainment, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to share with you some pictures. I'll share with you some of these challenges, not to depress you, but just to highlight what is, or to expose, not that you don't already know that, but to expose and to reveal to you the real challenge that we as Christians have in this day and age in this world, and what we can do about this challenge. So here's an article in Newsweek magazine. This was just a few years back. America becoming less Christian and more secular. You know what secular means? Worldly, non-religious. Here's another article in Newsweek magazine that's also, this is last year. Christianity is a dying religion for millennials in Europe. You know who are the millennials? Most of us, huh? Do you know the generation after the millennials, you know what it's called? Who said Gen Z? Very good. Gen Z. I would encourage you to study Gen Z and see what the characteristics of this generation are, because it's interesting. The world's newest major religion, you know what it is? What it is? It's not Catholicism, Christianity, or Islam. You know what it is? No religion. You know what this religion is called? Huh? Not atheists. Yarit. The world's newest religion. It's called? Very good. Close. I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. Yes, close. You know what it's called? The nuns. Google that. Not the nuns, rahibat. N-U-N, it's N-O-N-E-S. Nuns. Just go and do yourself, okay, this is homework for you. 2 things you need to Google and learn more about. Gen Z and nuns, N-O-N-E-S. You'll see that the nuns have been, and we're not going to discuss the nuns now, this is a whole different forum altogether, have been on the rise in recent years. What are those nuns? Those nuns do not believe in anything. They're not even atheists. They just have no religion. When you are presented, or when they're presented with options to select on a survey, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, atheism, whatever, and then at the very bottom, none of the above. They select none of the above. I'm neither, nothing, not neither, I'm nothing. Here is what the article say. What the article says. The religiously unaffiliated, they're called nuns, are growing significantly. They're the second largest religious group in North America and most of Europe. In the US, nuns make up almost a quarter of the population. In the past decade, US nuns have overtaken Catholics, Protestants, and all followers of non-Christian faiths. So these are the nuns. Remember, I want you have two jobs or two homework assignments. You got to look up the Gen Z. What's Gen Z? How to relate to Gen Zers or the Generation Z. And secondly, what are those nuns that are rapidly growing? Because we are exposed to these nuns day in and day out in our world, in our life. Whether we're working or going to school, what do they believe in, and so on and so forth. Okay. Here are also some books that have made it to the best-selling list. Richard Dawkins. Any of you heard of Richard Dawkins? No? He's the most vocal atheist. He's out of Oxford in England. Most vocal atheist. Akbar mulhid fil alam, Richard Dawkins. He wrote a book called The God Delusion. Sam Harris and Christopher Hitchens. All these are very vocal, aggressive, anti-theist atheists. The end of faith, God is not great, and these books are very common. They're very common books. I know I have friends that have read these books and are influenced by these books, by the ideologies that are presented in these books. How can we respond to what's being written in these books? This is what we should arm ourselves with, and we should be equipped with, God willing, throughout the weekend. Here is Mr. Dawkins himself. He's running a campaign that says there is probably no God. Now stop worrying and enjoy your life. He's basically saying God doesn't exist. He is a scientist, he's a biologist, and he says God doesn't exist, so why don't we just live it up? That's in essence what he's saying. عيش حياتك, in other words. Concepts have now been redefined and terms have been redefined. What do I mean by that? Let me give you just a sample. Few terms that have, or that traditionally had a biblical perspective or definition, our culture has completely redefined these terms, such as tolerance. Can one of you tell me what is the biblical perspective or definition of the concept of tolerance? Hi, Sally. What is the biblical? I don't usually interrupt, but I have to interrupt and say hi to you.
Sorry, everybody.
All right. Just happy to see my sisters, that's all. What is the biblical definition of tolerance? Someone please tell me. Somebody who has? Yeah, somebody who doesn't believe the same thing you believe, but you tolerate them. So in other words, I can tolerate you, I can love you. I can love you. Forgive me, one last interruption. All right. We'll finish the slide eventually. Okay? Biblical understanding is accepting and loving others without having to agree with their behavior. Do you remember this soundbite? Love the what? Hate the what? Love the sinner, hate the sin. مش كده? That's basically what tolerance is. Now, what is our culture's definition of tolerance? Accepting that everyone's beliefs, values, and lifestyle are equally valid and equally true. Do you see how the terms have been redefined? What the Bible used to think of tolerance is one thing. Our culture took that term and redefined it. Tolerance now means I have to not only accept you, but I have to accept what you believe in and what you do. You see? Another concept, moral judgment. Moral judgment. Biblical understanding says certain things are morally right or wrong as determined by God. God is the determiner of what is right, what is wrong. Our moral judgments, according to our culture's definition, is that we have no right to judge anyone. يعني ما عنديش الأحقية إن أنا أقول أنت غلط أنت صح. No judging. The most commonly used verse في الإنجيل كانت إيه? Or the most commonly quoted verse rather, not used, quoted, was John 3:16. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. مش كده هكذا أحب الله العالم. دلوقتي what's the most commonly quoted verse? Miss John 3:16 بقت Matthew 7:1 اللي هي do not judge so that you're not judged. لا تدينوا لكي لا تدانوا. So that's the verse that everyone is using and repeating because we can't judge anything. God said we can't judge. Of course that's the cultural definition. طيب آخر اتنين, freedom, الحرية, to be free. What is the biblical understanding of freedom? Can someone help me answer this question? To be? Very good. Excellent. What else? Free will. To have free will to do that which you know is true. Freedom implies knowledge of the truth. To be free to do that which you know is true. What is the cultural understanding of freedom? To do whatever you want. To have no boundaries. Here is, I'll make it easy for you. The biblical definition of freedom says this: I am free to do something. The cultural definition of freedom says I am free not to, but from others. You see? So you basically exchange these two words, to from. You see? Biblical understanding says I'm free to do what I am called or created to do, which is freedom from sin, free to be one with God. But the cultural definition of freedom says I am free to do whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want. But is that really freedom? Of course not. Okay? One more. Truth. Biblical understanding says truth is absolute. In other words, there is a standard of right and wrong. Falsehood and truth. Our culture's definition says whatever is right for you is true. الحق دلوقتي بقى نسبي. الحق النسبي يعني ايه؟ It depends على المجتمع اللي انا عايش فيه, it depends على الموقف اللي انا فيه, it depends على situation and so on. So as you can see, I am by the way اللي انا بتكلم عليه دلوقتي ايه؟ Challenges that we are facing as Christians in this world, in this age. And again, forgive me, I don't mean to depress you and give you a very solemn picture of what's going on out there, but that's the truth. That's what's going on out there, and we need to be not only aware of the challenge, but equipped to address the challenge. To be equipped. لازم نكون equipped. يعني ايه equipped؟ مسلحين ان احنا نقدر نقاوم التيارات بتاعة المجتمع اللي احنا عايشين فيه. Okay? طيب واحد اسمه جي بي مورلان كتب كتاب اسمه Love Your God or Love God with All Your Mind. He says a major cause of our current crisis, you can substitute crisis with challenge, in the West consists of a worldview shift from a Christian understanding of reality and truth to a post-Christian one. That's why theologians say that المجتمع اللي احنا عايشين فيه في الغرب حاليا, it's called post-Christian. It is no longer a Christian culture. We no longer live in a Christian nation. We used to maybe 150 years ago. Now we what's called a post-modern and post-Christian U.S. nation. I come from California, so maybe we are a little bit far ahead than يعني لسه Delaware لسه بخيرها يمكن مش كده؟ ولا برضو لسه بخيرها؟ Yeah? At least في شوية conservatism. احنا عندنا في كاليفورنيا في San Francisco, it's the other extreme, very liberal, and that crisis is even more magnified than it is here in the East. So, what is our culture's creed of faith? يعني أنا لو عملت قانون إيمان للculture بتاعي يكون شكله إيه؟ What is my creed of faith as a Christian? I have a creed of faith. قانون الإيمان. What is our creed of faith? We recite it every Sunday. We believe in one God, God the Father, the Almighty, and so on. What is the culture's قانون إيمان? Let's see what it says. I just collected few things from what I have been gathering from my meetings with youth from different settings. Number 1, Darwinian evolution explains my origin. That's my creed of faith as an atheist or non-believer. Where did you come from? Well, thank God for Darwin. He explains where I came from. Darwinian evolution is the substitute creator. Number 2, the Bible, it's a nice book, but it has a lot of errors and contradictions. There's a lot of mistakes in the Bible and a lot of contradictions. في تناقضات في الكتاب المقدس. يعني في الحدث بتاع القيامة كان في كم مريم اللي موجودين ومين اللي شافته الأول ومتى قال حاجة لوقا قال حاجة عكسها and so on and so forth. افتراضات. Okay, I'm not saying that's the truth, but they believe that the Bible has contradictions and errors. What do you think of Jesus? If you ask anyone on a college campus, Jesus is a great, wonderful man, but he was just like any other religious leader. Now, I'm going to pause here for a second. I will say this, ask you this question. If you say Christ was and is God, who will you be offending? Who are you offending when you say Christ is God? Non-believers, exactly, non-Christians. And if you say Christ is a bad person, who are you offending? Christians. So for you to عارفين يمسك العصاية من النص يعني ايه؟ Yeah, to compromise, what do you say? Christ is a very good teacher. But when you say that, what are you offending? Logic and reason. Logic and reason. Why is that? Because someone who claimed the things Christ claimed is either God or a crazy man. He cannot be something in between, right? Someone who claimed the things Christ claimed is either God, and he backed up that claim, or a crazy man. But you cannot say that he is a good moral teacher, and that is what C.S. Lewis said in his book Mere Christianity. When he said, I don't know if you've heard of the trilemma, Lord, lunatic, or liar. Any of you heard of that? He's either Lord, crazy man, or a liar. And then he went through the possibility using only logic and reason. So many say he was just like any other religious figure. I say, no, he's not. He made some outrageous claims. We need to examine those claims and see if they were true, then he is really God. And if they were false, then he is a crazy person. He's nothing in between, either God or a crazy person. Do you see what I'm saying? Because if you say anything in between, then you're offending reason itself. The resurrection is a myth. It didn't really happen. أسطورة. القيامة دي أسطورة. قصة طلعت كده من زمان والناس صدقوها. It's not true. It's a myth. And actually, you know what? I've heard of stories about the old Egyptian pharaohs that also died and resurrected, and they will come up with all of this unsubstantiated things. Here's another good one I hear on college campuses all the time. Just be good for goodness sake. Any of you heard of this before? Be good for goodness sake. Now think with me. What does that really mean? Be good for goodness sake. You know what would you ask? What would you ask for someone who says this? تسأله تقولوا له إيه؟ لو حد قال لك just be good for goodness sake. I see it on billboards, by the way. What would you say? Huh? Exactly. Exactly. What is the definition of good? طنط عفاف 100 انت شايفتنا. What do you mean by good? As a matter of fact, if there were no God, there would be no good. Good will be very relative if there is no God who determines what is good and what is not good. So what do you mean be good for goodness sake? Maybe your good is different from my good. Maybe, I'll give you an example. Osama bin Laden's good was to kill Americans. That's his good. My good is to love my enemy. Well, then who's to say which good trumps what good? فاهمين قصدي? طيب, here's another one. Christians are intolerant, are fanatics, are bigots, are judgmentals. Actually, I think this is coming next. No, anyway, okay. Christians are intolerant and judgmentals. Did you hear that before? I hear it all the time. All the time. I was just on a subway. احنا عندنا بنسميه BART. Do you guys remember BART? Okay. I was on BART just last week, the subway, and then I'm sitting down and I hear a couple of college kids. They just came in and they said apparently they had some kind of interaction with a Christian, and they just said these very words. But he's a Christian. You know, Christians are judgmentals. That's the word they used. Oh, you know Christians, they're judgmentals. They always say you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. They're holier than thou and all of that. But again, remember what we're going over? What is this? The creed of our culture. God is in each one of us. If you ever watch Oprah, that's what she claims. You watch Oprah? You do? Okay. You heard of her? Okay. A friend of yours told your neighbor that... No, I'm just kidding. So, yes, that's the creed of our culture. God is in each... Why go to church? Why fast and pray for someone who you can't see? God is inside of you. Actually, this is very much aligned with Christian theology, but that's not what they mean. Yes, in our Christian theology, God is in each one of us, but they have a very different meaning when they say God is in each one of us. Be God. Can be God. Here's another one. I don't believe in faith stories. Science is my only source of truth. If it is not scientific, I don't believe in it. Do you guys hear that? All the time? Especially those in advanced academic programs and universities. Science is the only source of truth. What do you say to that? Just think logically. I don't believe anything if it is not scientific. Now that statement, science is my only source of truth, is not a scientific statement. Cannot be proven by science. So it is self-refuting. In other words, you cannot prove scientifically that science is your only source of truth. What is that statement? Science is my only source of truth. It's a philosophical proposition. You know what I mean by that? Philosophical proposition. It's a philosophical statement. It's a logical statement. It's a logical deduction. You have premises and conclusion based on which you make that statement. But it's not scientific. So you cannot say science is my only source of truth because you cannot substantiate that scientifically. Here's another good one. What do you believe in, my friend? I believe in humanity. Actually, sometimes they say, I believe in human kindness. حد سمع دي قبل كده? A lot, all the time. What do you believe in? Human kindness. Just be human. طب يعني ايه I believe in human kindness? Back to what Tante Hafef said, how do you define kindness? Unless there's an overarching absolute definition of kindness, هتعرفوا kindness دي منين؟ يعني ايه I believe in human kindness؟ فاهمين قصدي؟ وفي بقى يعني there's so much more. I don't want to يعني belabor this subject. I think I'm done. Yes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 statements. I call them the creed of our culture. we as Christians must be equipped, مسلحين, to address and respond, to address these claims or this creed of our culture, and to respond with logic and with reason, and of course with love and kindness and compassion. Okay, not with you're wrong, I'm right. Of course, that's not what we're in the business of doing. So, any comments or questions on this so far? Any questions? No questions? Makes sense? Okay. All right. There's a prophecy in the scriptures, 2 Timothy chapter 4, verses 3 and 4, that says, the time will come, يعني الوقت هيجي. Okay, and I believe the time has come when they, اللي هم يعني unbelievers, will not endure sound doctrine, but according to their own desires, because they have itching ears, they will heap up for themselves teachers, and they will turn their ears away from the truth and be turned aside to fables. عارفين يعني turn their ears away from the truth? They don't want to hear the truth anymore. It bothers them. It frustrates them. So I don't want to hear the truth. I would much rather live a life of lies than to have to face the truth and make a decision to actually change my lifestyle. So I am faced with this decision, whether change my lifestyle and come to the truth, or turn my ears from the truth so that I continue living my corrupt lifestyle. Do you see what I'm saying? All right. My question now, are we at war? Are we or are we not? We are at a vicious war. Now, most definitely, where do you think is the epicenter of this, or the center of this battlefield? الحرب اللي احنا فيها دي هي حرب يعني obvious يعني باينة خالص. الحرب دي فين المعركة موجودة فين؟ or يعني السنتر بتاع المعركة دي فين؟ Where do you think? لا مش inside. ميديا، احنا فاكر احنا قلنا ميديا، politics، اكاديميا، كل الحاجات دي. اكتر واحدة فيهم عارفين فين؟ مين يقول؟ ها؟ لا مش البوليتكس دي an effect, not the cause. The academic arena. The epicenter is on college campuses and school campuses. This is where it all begins. It all begins there. On your college campus and on your high school campus, this is when you are fed with ideologies that corrupt anything you know about truth. It is all, this is where the epicenter is, college campuses. And I didn't come up with that, but this is what the research indicates. And here's the reference. طيب, we have two war zones. We are at war, but we are tempted in two different ways. And I will focus on one, not the other. يعني في نوعين من الحرب. حد يقول لي النوعين دول ايه؟ حضرتك قلت واحدة منهم, I think. فكرية, intellectual. What is the other one? لا. بالضبط. Exactly. انت غشيت؟ Okay. Ethical and intellectual. That's it. You are not tempted by any other means. عدو الخير, he tempts us either ethically, I'll explain. Ethically, your behavior, your lifestyle, your values, your morals. He tempts your ethos. اللي هي الايه؟ الإرادة. Our life, our conduct, our lifestyle. Or I am tempted intellectually. اديني examples. الايديولوجيز بتاعتي, الفلسفي بتاعتي. You see, my thoughts, my ideals. What is my tempted? Not my ethos, my logos, which is my mind. I'm either tempted in my mind or tempted in my will. And both of them are connected through the heart. So my heart either follows my mind or my heart follows my will or my desires of the flesh and so on and so forth. This is basically الحروب الروحية in few words. طيب, my question to you, which one of these is far more dangerous than the other? The ethical or the intellectual? Yes, sir. Absolutely. Anybody disagrees with this? Of course, both are dangerous and they're interconnected, but one of them is a little bit more dangerous than the other, which is the intellectual. And I'll explain why. The intellectual is far more dangerous. I'm not saying worse. They're both bad because they both take you away from God. Okay? They're both sinful. But what I'm trying to highlight is that one is more dangerous than the other. واحدة أكثر خطورة من الأخرى. بالضبط كده. الحرب الفكرية، حرب الايديولوجيز. ليه بقى؟ once عدو الخير يزرع بذرة فكر خطأ، that's it. يعني it's very difficult to unlearn الموضوع ده. انما ايه؟ طب انا يعني بعمل، انا مش بقول ethical moral things are sins are good. I'm not saying that. يعني مثلا I'm not, I sinned, I did something, whatever that is. It could be a wave or a stage in life. You will get over it once you mature and all of that. But then once you're tempted ideologically or philosophically or intellectually, it's very difficult. Why else is it more dangerous? ليه تاني؟ Yes. Exactly, because it leads to intellectual problems, lead eventually to ethical problems. Well, wait a minute. I have this thought that God doesn't really exist, and those people who go to church are delusional. You know what? He doesn't exist. So why don't I do whatever I want? You see? And sometimes, okay, what else? Why else? You were going to say something, Wally. You continue to do it. Exactly. Exactly. Very good. Excellent point. So that's third reason why intellectual is more dangerous. Intellectual warfares are more dangerous. You know why? They're more subtle and they are hidden. But the ethical warfare or the ethical sins, whatever you call it, they're less hidden. They're more revealed. فاهمين قصدي؟ أنا دلوقتي ممكن أجي الكنيسة كل يوم حد good boy, good girl، بتناول، بلبس شماس وحلو خالص. بس في مخي in my mind I have doubts and thoughts that are very different than what these people say. بس حد شاف حاجة؟ حد عارف حاجة؟ Nobody can see anything. Nobody can feel anything. It's just me, hidden. And if it's not treated and not exposed and addressed, it could be very dangerous. بس الموral problems معروفة. أنا هقول لكم حاجة تاني and I'll be honest with you. أنت بتسجل؟ لايف كمان؟ طب هقول لكم حاجة true story. One wonderful lady طنط جت في الكنيسة بتقول لي ايه؟ جورج أنا متضايقة جدا إن ابني عنده جيرل فريند ويعني عايش معاها وكده هو يعني I'm very 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 upset. فبليز اتكلم معايا علشان يرجع من البروبلم اللي هو فيها دي. What kind of problem is that? It's ethical. رحت اتكلم معاه قال لي ما هو بص بقى أنا I don't believe God exists. فرحت قلت لمامته يا طنط هي المشكله مش مشكله جيرل فريند، مشكله ان هو he doesn't believe in. قال لي لا مش مهم، دي حاجات هي he will fix that later. المهم الجيرل فريند. Do you understand my point? Do you understand my point? Why is that? Because in our culture we sometimes focus on one over the other, and I think it's wrong, very wrong. I think we should focus on both of them. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but I think intellectual warfare is far more dangerous, and in this day and age, they need to be addressed and with logic and compassion. God willing, tomorrow and a little bit of Sunday, we will discuss how we can address these challenges with logic and reason. We're going to use the scriptures very minimally. مش هنستعمل الكتاب المقدس خالص. احنا هنرد ردود ايه؟ منطقية مقنعة عشان نقدر نتكلم بنفس اللغة اللي بيتكلم بيها العالم اللي احنا عايشين فيه. انما هتقول له well the Bible says، هقول لك انا sorry I don't believe in this Bible. So what do you use? What's in common between me and someone who doesn't believe anything? Logic and reason and rationale. So we have to be trained on how to respond, again with love and compassion. طيب let's move on. هقول لكم حاجة تاني to indicate or to prove in the intellectual warfare is far more dangerous. هقول لكم شوف كام how many warnings St. Paul had declared in his epistles against the intellectual warfares. Let me share with you some scripture references. بصوا St. Paul قال ايه in 2 Corinthians 11. I fear lest somehow as the serpent deceived Eve by his craftiness, so your minds may be corrupted from the purity that's in Christ. What's corrupted again? Your minds may be corrupted. You see? So the focus here is on the mind. Another verse in 1 Timothy. In latter times, some will depart from the faith, giving heed to deceiving spirits and doctrines of demons. Not works of demons, but doctrines of demons. So he's again focusing on the mind and knowledge of the truth. Ephesians 4. We should no longer be children tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine. Do you see the warning? And last verse. In Hebrew 13, do not be carried about with various and strange doctrines. And there's a lot more. So there are a lot of warnings from the scriptures على doctrines, العقيدة, ideologies, worldviews, warnings. Now, my question to you, احنا اتكلمنا في الموضوع ده exactly 2 years ago, June 2017, when I was here with you last time. We discussed some of those strange doctrines, and I don't know if you remember some of them. Can you help me identify what are these strange doctrines that we are currently living with? I'll begin with the first one, and then you give me the rest. Atheism. Give me some more isms that we are living. Yes, sir. Agnosticism. Excellent. طب قول لي ايه يعني ايه agnosticism? You're not sure? What's the key word? You don't? Exactly. Who said no? Someone said no. Yes, you don't know. Very good. I don't know. Gnosis in Greek, عشان تكون عارف الكلمة. Gnosis in Greek means to know. That's why it has the G, which is equivalent to the K, which we don't pronounce. So it's kno, because it came from gno in Greek. But alpha in Greek means opposite of. So agnostic means I don't know. What is the Latin of agnostic? Ignoramus, from which we get ignorant. So ignoramus is the Latin of agnostic, which means I don't know. I don't know if God exists or doesn't exist. Give me some more isms. I think it's the, oops, I thought it was the next one. All right, besides this one, give me some more philosophies and worldviews and strange doctrines. I am sure you've heard of many. Give me some isms. Huh? Pluralism. Very good. What is that? A Buddhism. Okay, أخطيت. لا مش قصدي religions. I don't mean religions. I mean philosophies. Yes, Buddhism, it is philosophy. Besides Buddhism, what else? Oh, pluralism is? You know what that pluralism is because your college paper was on that. Give me like a sentence of pluralism. Yes. You wrote a paper on this. Exactly. Everybody worships the same God. Like the elephant and the blind men example. Everyone worships. Plural means تعدد. بالعربي اسمه مذهب التعددية. Pluralism, we're all worshiping the same God. Give me some more isms. We need to know these things. You know why? مش علشان ان احنا ننبهر بمعلوماتنا. But we need to know these things علشان نقدر ان احنا نتحاور مع شبابنا واولادنا لما بيتعرضوا للحاجات للإزمز دي في المجتمع. So we need to be aware of what these philosophies are. Because if my son, if he goes to high school and comes and tells me, hey dad, we studied humanism today. أقول له huh? What does that mean? I lost credibility. فقدت المصداقية مع ابني. لازم أعرف لما يقول لي أنا ذاكرت humanism أقول له أنا عرفت humanism وأسأله أقول له إيه الفرق بينها وبين المسيحية وhumanism بتقول كده ومسيحية. فاهمين قصدي؟ We need to know these philosophies because believe me, our kids are exposed to these isms not even in college, in high school. Huh? Who said hedonism? Yes, big one. You have to say what that is. Until you said it. Exactly. Following your flesh, whatever feels good, do it. Hedonism. What else? Oh, very good. It's called deism. Deism. اللي هي our father, God created the world and left it. And he said, I don't have anything to do with you anymore. It's called deism. What else? Here, let me just go through them real quick. Relativism, which means everything is relative. Truth is relative. بالعربي اسمه مذهب النسبية. Humanism. مذهب الإنسانية. مش الإنسانية إن الواحد يكون عنده إنسانية. That's not what it is. Humanism, I now become God. I am God. بكرة هنتكلم, tomorrow, God willing, we will discuss the replacement gods of the atheist. Humanism is one of them. آلهة الملحد البديلة. لما الملحد بينكر وجود الله بيصطنع لنفسه إله آخر. وفي 3 آلهة منهم humanism اللي هو أنا بقيت God. Existentialism اللي هو مذهب الوجودية. مين كان famous existentialist? Sartre, exactly. Very good. مين تاني؟ في كتير. Albert Camus. John. لا ماركس كان he flirted with it but he was not. الوجودية عارفين بتقول إيه؟ What existentialism says? Let's eat and be merry for tomorrow we shall die. يعني إيه؟ عيش حياتك. You know عيش حياتك means ملهاش. There's no life afterwards. Just enjoy your life. عيش حياتك ملهاش translation بالإنجليزي. Live it up. Hedonism, as Ruby said. Agnosticism. What's your name? Mark, as Mark said. Pantheism. What does هنقولها ننطقها مظبوط. Pantheism means what? Pan means what? لا. Very good. All. When the priest في القداس لما أبونا في القداس بيقول Pan ageia trias. What does pan ageia trias mean? The all holy trinity. لما بنسمع في القداس Pantocrator, the holder of all or the almighty, طابة الكل. So pan means all. Theos means God. So لما نحط pan theos يبقى all is God. Everything, الميكروفون ده God, الكليكر ده God. We're all gods. That's pantheism. Skepticism. What does skepticism mean? Exactly. I'm doubtful. I'm skeptical. Okay? And then neo-atheism. طب ايه بقى النيو atheism دي؟ طب احنا عارفين الاثيزم. ايه النيو atheism دي؟ لا, we don't care دي مش new atheism. That's called apatheism. Believe it or not, there's a philosophy called apatheism. Apathetic means ما تفرقش. برضه ملهاش ترجمة. Yes. يا ريت النيو ايثيزم يكونوا نانز. عارفين النيو ايثيزم ايه الفرق بين الالحاد القديم الكلاسيكي والالحاد الجديد؟ اقول لكم ايه الفرق. الكلاسيكي حلوه دي. The classical atheism says you believe in God, ماشي, I'll leave you alone. I don't believe in God. You leave me alone, I leave you alone. انا ماليش دعوه بيك, انت ماليش دعوه بيا. But I don't believe in God. That's atheism. That's الحاد. New atheism بقى, look it up. Here's another third thing to look up. احنا قلنا, فاكرين اللي قلنا الهومورك ايه؟ Gen Z, nuns, new atheism. You will see بقى الادvocates or champions اللي بيعملوا new atheism دول عارفين بيقولوا ايه؟ لا, I don't believe in God. And if you believe in God, I need to get rid of you. Because you are a detriment to our society. So it's a far more aggressive way of atheism. هتلاقوا كده لما تكتبوا new atheism on Google, هتلاقوا في 4 are the champions and the advocates and proponents of new atheism. اللي هم Richard Dawkins, Sam Harris, Christopher Hitchens, and Daniel Dennett. And they call themselves the Four Horsemen because they are the ones who championed this movement of new atheism. They basically are far more aggressive. They want to get rid of everything that has to do with belief. And by the way, their philosophy, الفلسفة بتاعتهم, is very يعني has infiltrated our curriculum in our public schools. يعني they're very impactful in our society. الأربعة دول والفكر. عشان كده دلوقتي حتى يعني even I'm saying Catholic schools, but even public schools, at least عندنا في كاليفورنيا, موضوع new atheism that is very rampant. لا wait a minute, احنا if you are a Christian because your dad is a Christian, that's wrong. You should actually decide for yourself what you want to be. Don't just blindly follow your mom and dad. That is not right. You should decide for yourself. And that's what our kids are taught. And if they're taught this in California now, they're not so much here in Delaware, eventually it will be the case. It's just a matter of, أنا مش قصدي, I don't mean to depress you. It's been taught. طب يعني you're not that far off يعني من عندنا. Yeah. Can I give you something else? Can I tell you something else? بس عشان احنا San Francisco, and I don't want to open this kind of worms of trans and homosexuality and all of that. But I'll tell you now, the LGBTQ plus community is so vocal, at least in California and San Francisco, that now every school, every elementary, مش middle school, مش high school, elementary school curriculum includes the following. If you are a boy, I don't know if I'm saying too much. Should I be saying this? Okay, you guys are adults. مش هنخبي حاجة. If you're a boy who's 5-7 years old, you're encouraged to explore what it is to be a girl. حتى الميكروفون مش مبسوط من اللي بقوله. Okay? يعني if you're a boy, you're encouraged to explore what it is like to be a girl for a week to a month or a year. And if you like, and might as well go through the surgery and then the hormonal treatment and all of that. And if you're a girl, you should explore what it's like to be the other gender. Kids are being taught this in elementary school. It has been approved as of 3 months ago. I just had a conference in Toronto with Abuna Dawood Lamri just 2 months ago in May. And we discussed this very subject also in Toronto, in Canada. It's very common and rampant, and that's what the school teaches nowadays. I wonder what will happen 5, 10, 15 years from now, but that's what we're up against as Christians. That's the challenge that we have. And I keep repeating myself, must be equipped to address this challenge. Yeah, how? Very good. The question, maybe I can take this mic. Thank you so much. Oh, sorry. The very good question. What's your name? Ustaz Ihab بيقول, how can all this pass without يعني واحنا كده قاعدين we didn't do anything? No, we have. No, I'm not saying the Coptic Church. Even there was opposition, and this was on the ballot years and years and years. This is not recent. But as we oppose this, and as we form a coalition of conservatives, I'm not saying the Coptic Church, we had representation, but the evangelicals and all the conservatives in general. But the problem is that their voices are louder than our voices, or their voice is louder than ours. They have more influence. There's also political lobbying involved. And there's a lot of other things that gave way to, but then keep in mind, we live in one of the most liberal states in the US. And, but that's, again, the writing is on the wall. Not this wall, they have good writings here, but the writing is on the worldly wall. It's bound to happen, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse. We, as Christians, need to wake up, understand this war. That's why I'm sharing this with you tonight. And understand how practically, مش بقى theoretically, we're done talking. Now we need to do something to move. Mobilize the troops and do something about this trend and this war. Yeah, we are in a weak position, but that doesn't mean that we should just fold and say, okay, well, we can't do anything. No, you can. If you cannot change the social now becoming norm or trend, at least you have an influence at home on how to raise your children, how to protect them, how to involve them early on in this battlefield, not to isolate, but to inoculate, vaccinate, and how to interact with them and explain to them the truth. So we do have we as parents and servants have a huge responsibility to protect the flock. And as youth, here's your responsibility. Now you know what's going on. What is my position as let's say I'm in high school or middle school? What's my position? Do I believe in what they're doing? Do I believe in what I believe in? Do I have any strong convictions one way or another? I encourage you to have that conviction. But search and seek for the truth. And you will find that truth. And there are resources and references that can guide you through this process. Let's move on. So, عرفت new atheism? Okay, it's a plague, وباء بيجتاح الغرب والعالم كله. By the way, and I was also, not to further depress you, but when I was in a ministry with Abuna Dawood in Egypt last year, and going again this year, and I'm thinking, I haven't been to Egypt for 34 years. When I came in as a little kid, I went back to Egypt, and I'm thinking, Egypt, عارفين لسه بخيرها, you know what that means? It's still, everyone there is religious and spiritual, either Muslim or Christian, but they're all, I was shocked, very shocked, to see and to hear what I heard and what I saw, and how atheism has infiltrated not only the US, but also the Middle East, even in Dubai, even in the Gulf countries. Atheism is very prevalent and very much there, alive. Europe is the قصة تانية خالص. I just came from Austria last month, and sometimes it's worse than the US as far as their religious ideologies. The world in general we live in a fallen world. We shouldn't be surprised. But we, as Christians in this world, we do have a mission and a task and a responsibility, because this responsibility comes with a blessing and honor once we fulfill it. All right. Let's here's deism اللي حضرتك قلت عليها. Okay. Naturalism basically believes that we believe the world, there's nothing beyond the physical world, nothing metaphysical, nothing supernatural. Everything is explained by the natural world. Okay. What is behind these strange doctrines? ايه اللي جد؟ ايه الجديد؟ طب ما احنا we've had these intellectual wars from long time, from before Christ. Arius, Utaqi, Apollonarius, كل الناس دي دول عارفين دول ايه؟ هرطقة بالفكر. طب ايه الجديد دلوقتي اللي الاسمز دي طلعت؟ What is new today? The answer to this question is another question. What age do we live in? Not the age of information anymore. We surpassed that. It's close. We live in the age of knowledge. Sociologists call this age we live in the age of knowledge. The age of knowledge. Let me share, I'm not going to go through all of this, but it begins from the Stone Age all the way. You'll see all these ages, العصور. كل العصور دي لقينا لغاية بقى مش information age. Information age ده كان 20-30 years ago. The explosion of information. Now we thrive on the age of, or the notion of knowledge. Now I've transformed this information into knowledge. I now know, and there's a lot to be said. احنا مش عايزين نتكلم برضو على the age of knowledge and the impact of the age of knowledge. But it's this kind of age. It's the age of, someone said media, I don't know who said media. Yes. Media and information translated into knowledge. The age of Google. Now, احنا زمان, with all my respect to the parents, زمان, if I had a question, especially if it's a worldview question or a philosophical question, deep question, I go to my mom, my dad, my uncle, my aunt. Now if I have a question, Uncle Google بالضبط كده. Some parents would come and بالعربي بقى بعض من أولياء الأمور بيجوا بيقولوا ولادنا ما بيسمعوش كلامنا anymore بيروحوا على الإنترنت وبياخدوا كل معلوماتهم من الإنترنت. But that's the age we live in. You have other ways you can impact your children. But anyways, that's just the way we live in. The age of Google. Do you know, one time I was speaking to some youth, وقلت لهم, do you know what is, in my opinion, the most excellent knowledge one may attain is the knowledge of your ignorance. To me, that is the most supreme type of knowledge that you can have. Once you know that you're ignorant, only then will you strive to get true knowledge versus false knowledge. With this avalanche of knowledge, ايه المشكلة بقى؟ ان النولج بيجي ايه؟ الحلو والوحش، الصالح والطالح. مش اسمها طالح؟ الحلو والوحش. The good and the bad. And we lose what? Discernment, wisdom, and تمييز between ايه النولج الحلو وايه النولج الوحش. ما هو بقى ايه؟ عارفين اللي بيشرب من fire hydrant، كل ده knowledge وانت مش عارف بقى دي ميه حلوه ميه مش حلوه، بتشرب وخلاص. So what, as parents and as youth, what do we need to do? نبني فضيلة مهمة جدا في هذا العصر، فضيلة التمييز. Discernment, the virtue of discernment between what is good and edifying, ما هو للبنيان, and what is bad, that is destructive. It's a prophecy. على فكرة دي كانت نبوة. بصوا دانيال النبي قال ايه في دانيال 12. You, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book until the time of the end. آخر الأيام. Many shall run to and fro and knowledge shall increase. والمعرفة تزداد. دي آية من نبوة في الإنجيل إن في آخر الأيام knowledge increase. Knowledge, and we are living in those days. Knowledge has increased and will continue to increase. But we need to be discerning of what is good and what is bad. I will pause. How much time do we have? A couple more minutes? Can we have a few more minutes? قول يا طنط. نخلص نيجي تاني؟ تحبوا نكمل كده few more minutes و call it a night ولا مش كده برضو؟ أنا خايف لو بريك مش كده يا ابونا؟ أنت أولهم؟ أنا أولهم. Okay, so let's continue. Yes. طب خلاص I'm almost done عشان مش عاوز أطول عليكم. I don't wanna. عمر؟ Okay, ماشي. أنا بس مش عاوز يعني ده وأنا يعني I want to be respectful of my time as well. طيب I'll pause now and I want to ask you questions. Any questions so far على اللي احنا اتكلمنا عنه؟ No, quite clear as mud. Okay. طيب why bother? ليه يعني? Why bother? Why do we have to do all this? For two reasons. First of all, God commands it. These are could be questions? I thought it was clear as mud, apparently not. All right. If I don't get to these tonight, I promise you I will get to them, God willing, tomorrow, for sure. Yes? We're sleeping here tonight. God bless you. All right, yes, Tant. Okay, Tant is adding more questions. God commands it. And the second reason, the world needs it. We'll finish with these two. Why bother? ليه احنا ليه تعبين نفسنا وجايين يوم الجمعة وسايقين why? Because of these two reasons. First of all, God commands it. Let's see the verses in the scriptures. First verse, 2 Timothy. In humility, which is very important. بكل تواضع وطول أناة. Correcting those who are in opposition so that they may know the truth. So we are called, you and I are called to, in humility, do what? Correct those who are in opposition ideologically. If you're in opposition, I have to correct with love and humility. Just like what St. Peter said, always be ready to give a defense to everyone who asks you. حد يقدر يfinish the verse? كونوا مستعدين لمجاوبة كل من يسألكم عن سبب الرجاء الذي فيكم. بقى أهم حاجة في الآية دي الآخر كلمتين بكل تواضع ومخافة. In meekness and fear. يعني بقى مش I know the truth, you're wrong, I'm going to prove to you ان انت غلط and flex my intellectual muscles and prove you wrong. That is not what we're doing. I always say this, I am willing to lose the argument so that I may win the soul. فاهمين قصدي؟ I am willing to lose the argument so that I can win the person I'm talking to. Because I want to win this person to Christ, not just a debate that I'm engaged in. طيب, تاني حاجة, the world needs it. Here's what I'm going to ask you a question. Let me begin with this first. Let me begin with this picture. So I was at a conference and one of the youth asked me, youth conference, and this was in Egypt actually, and someone asked this question, what is my purpose in life? And this was a question, maybe it's one of those questions. Of course, what's my purpose in life? ده مش سؤال يعني you can answer كده in 30 seconds. ده عاوز قعدة, مش كده? But how can you very concisely يعني concisely باختصار تجاوب على سؤال ما هو هدفي في الحياة. So I realized that the answer to this question is very simple. what is your purpose in life is twofold. Number one, anyone knows? At least mind. Yes, close. Close. Yes, that's why God created us. Now, what's my purpose in life? Here it is. To know God and to make Him known. Period. To know God and to make Him known. That is our overarching purpose that we all have as Christians. And let me explain. My purpose إن أنا أعرف هدفي في الحياة إن أنا أعرف الرب وأعرفه للآخرين فقط لا غير. That's it. So my purpose is to know God. He created me so that I can enter into a relationship with Him. طيب, think with me. God is so good. Our God is a what God? Is an awesome God. مش كده? So if I get to know Him, I will inevitably what? Love Him. And if I love Him, I want to get to know Him more. I will love Him more. I want to know Him more. And I will love Him even more. And I will get to a point that I love Him so much because I've grown in my knowledge of Him so much that I will begin now to what? Share Him with others. That's it. That's what your purpose in life is as a Christian. Just like when you get a post on, none of you uses Facebook anymore. I know this is on the tons now. It's for grandpa. Anyways, for grandpas who use Facebook, forgive me, مش قصدي هو بس they understand what I mean. It's what Instagram and Snapchat and all that. المهم, let's say if you use Facebook and you get a post on Facebook and you like it so much. Maybe you like it, you hit like. But if you like it so much, what do? You share it. Well, we have a message from God, the message of love, message of salvation. And are we sharing that message? Just like we share posts we get. Maybe we don't understand the magnitude of the love of God. Or maybe we don't care much about the people that's why we don't share it with them. Maybe one or the other. So here's our purpose in life. أعرف الرب لو أعرفه هحبه ولما أحبه قوي هعرفه للآخرين. That's it. So what is our purpose in life, all of us? To know God and make Him known. طيب, أنا هقول لكم برضو الكلام ده يعني أنا ما جبتوش من عندي برضو, بس فكرت في آية. I thought of a verse that inspired me to have this answer. It's this verse. The verse that was before that. All right. John 17:18 says what? John 17 is the priestly prayer that Christ had for His Father. الخطاب الوداعي, الصلاة الشفاعية في آخر إنجيل يوحنا اللي بنقراها. الشمام سبا يقولوا لي بنقرا John 17 دي إمتى؟ في أسبوع الآلام. بنقراه إمتى؟ ها؟ الخميس بالليل. excellent. بنسميه إيه؟ فصول البراكليت. very good. بنقراه في الخميس بالليل. John 14, 15, 16, 17. الأربع إصحاحات دول بنقراهم في الخميس بالليل اللي هي ليلة الجمعة العظيمة. Beautiful, beautiful prayers that speak about the holy sending of the Holy Spirit. The last of these four prayers is John 17. What did Christ say? As you sent me into the world, I also have sent them into the world. كما أرسلتني إلى العالم هكذا أنا أيضا أرسلهم إلى العالم. Question to you. Who's speaking? Christ speaking to the Father. He's saying, as you sent me. What was the mission Christ was sent for? Besides salvation and giving us life and all of that. What was one of the things Christ did relative to the Father? Yes? Huh? Oh, I have to come shake your hand. That's the perfect answer I was looking for. All right. Good job. What's your name? David, you have the best answer of all of them. Yes. He came specifically, as David beautifully said, to teach us and to show us who the Father is. But he also said, as you sent me, Father, to show the world who the Father is, I am also sending them to show the world who Christ is. Do you get it? Like Father, like Son, like Christ, like the Christian. So we do to the world the same thing Christ did to the world. He showed the world. علم العالم ما هو the Father, الآب في العهد القديم كان very abstract. He would appear only a few people. People didn't know who God is. But Christ came to show the world who God is. And he sent us so that we can show the world who Christ is. So we are now charged or tasked with a very important mission in our life. To know God, finish with me, and to make him known. To know God and to make him known. Just like Christ made the Father known, احنا برضو نخلي العالم دوا يعرف من هو المسيح. So we are like little Christs walking around showing the world. That's why sometimes I also tell the youth this statement or this question. Ask yourself, when people see you, do they see you as a Christian or do they see Christ in you? Yes, there's supposed to be the Christ in you, but you ask yourself a question. As Christians, I promise I'll finish with this slide. We need to respond to two things. The growing influence of our culture on our Christian faith and the decreasing influence of our faith on our culture. So we need to maintain that balance. The culture now is influencing our faith and we need to respond to that. Our faith is not so much influencing our culture, we need to also respond to that. Because as Christ said in Matthew chapter 5, we are the salt of the earth, we are the light of this world. How can this world see if it doesn't have the eyes to see with, which basically is all of us? We are the eyes of this world with which it can see. And I think we can finish right here. So, let me just do a quick review and then we'll open it for discussion. احنا اتكلمنا عن حاجات كتير قوي النهارده. We discussed current challenges of our faith. احنا قلنا can someone tell me the creed, forget the terms that have been redefined, the creed of this culture. Tell me few of the statements that we've discussed as the motto or the credo or the creed of our culture. What is it? Yes. Christians are intolerant and judgmental. Yes. God is in each one of us. What else? The Bible is full of errors and contradictions. These are allegations. These are not true statements, of course. The resurrection, exactly, is a myth. It didn't really happen. So this is the creed of our culture. One more. Fakrin? Yes. Sorry. I got excited when I heard that. Yes. Be good for goodness sake. All right. Then we also discussed that we are at war and there are two war zones. Fakrin? There is the intellectual, which has to do with philosophies and worldviews and ideologies. And there's the ethical, which has to do with my lifestyle, my morals, and so on and so forth. And we said one is more dangerous than the other. We also discussed what else? The warnings from the scriptures about the strange doctrines. مش كده؟ وقلنا إن there's a lot of strange doctrines. Give me some of them. Just some. Some isms. Huh? New atheism. Yes, David. Huh? Humanism. I love you, David. David, right? Yes. Is he your son? No? Is he your son? God bless him. What else? A couple of more isms. David, you better come tomorrow so you can help me. Okay? All right. We also discussed why bother. Sorry, I forgot I'm in church. Why bother? Because God commands it and the world needs it. God tells us that we ought to defend our faith and the world needs it because we are the light and the salt of this earth, and we are to represent Christ to the world just like Christ came and showed the world who the Father is. Glory and honor be to His name forever and ever. Amen. طب دلوقتي I want to open it for questions from you. Oh, Tante Samia told me to make sure I answer that question first. But before, any comments, before we ask questions or answer questions, any comments? Does that make sense? Is it relevant? Yes? No? Okay, good. Yes? Okay. Any questions or comments? Abuna, please add anything if you want to add. Okay. Are you ready? Okay. Ready for some questions and answers? Okay. وبعد كده يعني الساعة دلوقتي 6:30. عندي أنا 6:30 فأنا معايا لغاية الساعة 9. All right. We'll finish very soon. The question that I'll answer your question. So here is a question that says, does God exist? هل ربنا موجود ولا مش موجود؟ Basically ده هيكون موضوع بكرة. فلو يعني you'll very well. Holding this wrong. Of course we believe that God exists. Of course we do believe that God exists, or else why are we here to begin with? How can we prove that God exists? That's the question. But let me rephrase the question, or let me rethink what's the key word in the question? Prove. Prove. Can you prove that God exists? Well, it depends on what you mean by prove. Scientifically, can you prove that God exists? No, of course not. Science deals with matter and energy. God is neither matter or energy. Science deals with the scientific method, repeated experimentation, observation, hypotheses, and all of these things. And God is not, you cannot put God in a test tube. God is not a substance that you can study in science. So science is mute when it comes to the existence of God. Science cannot prove that God exists, but science also cannot disprove that He exists. But does that mean that since science, or since I cannot prove scientifically that God exists, does that lead me to believe that God doesn't exist? Of course not. Well, what do I need to prove that science is not the only way I can prove reality and truth? Is that the case or not? Of course it is the case. There are a lot of truths that we live by as true that are not scientifically proven, but then we take them as true. There are other methods to prove reality other than science. Logical reasoning, relational experiential proofs, and so on and so forth. I'll give you some examples. I know as a fact, well, balash I. What's your name? Bola knows as a fact that his mother loves him, right? Can you prove that scientifically? You can't prove that scientifically. But you know that. Do you know it as true? Very true. Can you prove it scientifically? You can't. So, do you understand the point? Love, affection, emotion, you can prove the effect of these things, but you cannot prove the ontological existence of these virtues and values. I'll give you another thing, another example. Do you believe, Bola, that George Washington was the first president of the US? You believe that. You hold that statement or that conviction as fact and truth. Yes. Can you prove it scientifically? Absolutely not. History, while we know it's true, we cannot prove it scientifically. So the scientific method deals only with what is in the universe. God by nature or by design is what? Outside the universe. Therefore, I can't say science I cannot say God cannot be proven by science. I can say God is even beyond the realm of science. If there was no God, there would be no science. Does that make sense? Because if there's no God, there would be no earth, no nature. And if there's no earth, no nature, then there's no science to study that nature. Do you see? انتوا عارفين أنا مرة I think I tweeted something like this. I said, an atheist who denies the existence of God is like an auto mechanic who works on a car engine while denying the existence of Henry Ford. An atheist scientist who denies the existence of God is like an auto mechanic who works on a car engine while denying the existence of Henry Ford. If there's no Henry Ford, there would be no cars. If there's no cars, there's no engine. What are you working on? Do you get it? The scientist, if there's no God, there'd be no earth. If there's no earth, there's no nature. What are you working on? Well, then we have to, this implies that God created this earth. That leads to another question. How did the universe begin? And that's the one question I have spoken to hundreds of atheists over the past decade and a half. I have yet to find a logical answer to this question. Where did the universe come from? And don't tell me the Big Bang. Where did the universe come from? A question. You know what? Richard Dawkins بجلالة قدره. عارفين جلالة قدره? Richard Dawkins himself, the most famous atheist who exists, the patriarch of atheists, he was asked this question. You can look it up on YouTube. He was asked this question. Where did the universe come from? He paused and said, I don't know. And then he was pressed again to answer this question. Come on, Richard. Come on, يعني you have millions of atheists behind you. يعني اديهم كلمتين يعني صبرهم. So he said, okay, well, I'll tell you how the universe exists. I wish he said, continued by saying, I don't know. He said, aliens came and created this universe and went back to where they came from. I am not making that up. Look it up on YouTube. Richard Dawkins, aliens, origin of the universe. هتلاقي الفيديو. ما هو ايه اللي كان بيعمله interview was very compassionate with him. He let him go. He did not want to say, really, aliens created the universe and they went back. جم منين راحوا في مش مهم. But he doesn't know where the universe came from. What's his name? Charles Darwin himself, in his book, The Origin of Species, and I read this book, he doesn't say anything about the origin of species, although the book is entitled Origin of Species. He doesn't say the origin of species. He speaks about the survival of species, not the arrival of species. Anyways, so God is the only universe. That's number one. A second reason why God exists outside the Bible is the origin of life, and we'll discuss this tomorrow too. Where did life come from? The only explanation for life is for a being who is life-giving. الإجابة الوحيدة للحياة جت منين؟ هو في كائن معطي للحياة. مش حي، محيي، وهو الله. Anyways, this is this is simple answers to these questions. I have. Okay, let me read some more questions. اوكي. في سؤال جميل جدا بالعربي. اصحابي اخلاقهم حلوه قوي وبيتعاملوا، هقوله بالانجليزي، وبيتعاملوا بكل احترام، هل سيكون لهم نصيب في السماء ولماذا؟ My friends are very moral and they're very nice people and they are basically good people. Will they go to heaven? I have this question all the time and coming my way. Will my good, sincere atheist friend go to heaven? He doesn't cheat, he doesn't steal, he doesn't say anything bad. He's such a good gentleman or gentlewoman, whatever. Will they go to heaven? What's your reasoning? Or what's your thought? Yes or no? And why not? And why yes? Very good. بس بقى مش عاوزين حاجات من الإنجيل. I cannot say البايبل بيقول. ما البايبل بيقول I am the truth, life, and the way, truth, and life. No one comes to the Father but me. بس إنجيل. إحنا بنتكلم logic. I will give you some principles. Whenever you question, do not answer right away. If you were to examine every question and put it to the test, you will soon realize that the question itself self-destruct. If you were to think logically about the question, that requires training. God bless you. عارفين ايه؟ يعني محتاجين تدريب ان احنا لما يجي لنا سؤال زي ده ما نجاوبش على طول. نشوف الجواب ده، السؤال ده فيه اخطاء فلسفيه. ايه الاخطاء دي؟ وفي افتراضات، يعني في assumptions. لما واحد بيقول لي صاحبي مش عارف ايه اخلاقه حلوه جدا بس ملحد، هل يكون ليهم نصيب في السماء؟ ايه الافتراض اللي انا عملته هنا؟ ان في سماء، وايه هي السماء؟ فاهمين قصدي؟ Here is my question to this questioner. What do you mean by heaven? Because you can be very nice, but you don't want to go to my heaven. My heaven is different than your heaven. What is heaven? احنا على فكرة يعني ده موضوعنا يوم الحد. What is heaven? اديني كده يعني كلمة واحدة تعريف heaven. Christ. مش كده؟ Christ is heaven. اللي بيخلى heaven وجود المسيح فيها. طيب لو heaven is Christ وانت بترفض Christ, why would you want to go to heaven? الا بقى لو انت عندك تعريف اخر للهيفن دي. فاهمين قصدي؟ الإجابة مش هجاوبك على السؤال. السؤال نفسه فيه أخطاء افتراضية فلسفية. دي جرى؟ اوكي. هل هيكون ليهم نصيب في الهيفن؟ It depends بقى. عرف لي heaven. Do you believe? That's a very timely question. اسأل Richard Dawkins. Do you believe aliens exist? Thoughts. Me personally, I don't believe aliens exist. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Thoughts. But here's also, I want to be very careful. Where do I get my convictions from? What I know to be true. What I know to be true is that this created world is all there is. I have a standard of truth called God and the scriptures and the church. And this is what they teach. And this is my conviction. I haven't seen any aliens. Of course, I think في الhistory channel there's a show called Ancient Aliens. Any of you heard of it? You've heard of Ancient Aliens? Yeah? They may speculate that aliens exist, but I don't believe that they exist. Neither do I think it matters. How can the Coptic community accept a person who's homosexual? I did not want to open the forums because this actually is a very important discussion and I want to give it its due attention. So, I don't know if we can maybe wait until tomorrow and we can discuss it in details. Is that okay with you guys? Because it's an important subject. But I don't want to dodge the question. And I want to, maybe the person who asked the question may not come tomorrow. How can / does the Coptic community accept a person who's homosexual? Let me very briefly tell you that Coptic community, Coptic church, what is the Coptic community? What is the Coptic church? That's us. We are the Coptic community. So you can also rephrase the question, how can we accept someone who is homosexual? We accept everyone. Christ came for everyone. As a matter of fact, he came for those who are sinners. So do we accept homosexuals? Of course we do. Do we accept homosexuality? Of course we don't. And that's the difference. The problem here, my friends, is that in our culture, we tend to not differentiate between what I do and who I am. What I do defines who I am. That is not Christianity. That's existentialism. دي فلسفة أخرى. لازم أفرق between هويتي أنا واللي بعمله. المجتمع ما بيفرقش. عشان كده لما بقابل واحد the first time I meet someone وعاوز أتعرف عليه، عارفين بسأله بقول له إيه؟ What do you do? Because what you do defines who you are. That is not Christianity. Christianity says who you are determines what you can. You see? Essence precedes existence. In existentialism, الوجودية, existence precedes essence. So, homosexuals is who they are. Homosexuality is what they do. I love who you are. I accept who you are. I show you love. But because I love you, I cannot approve of that sin that you do. You see? And we can do this more in details. Can we as a church, and we discussed this subject with Abuna Dawood a couple of months ago in Toronto when we talked about transgenders and all that. And I'll be very honest and frank with you. Do you think we can do more as a Coptic church, as your Coptic community, to show more love to homosexuals? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. But that should not compromise our faith, belief that homosexuality is a sin and is very blatantly mentioned in the scriptures as a sin. So in San Francisco, where I come from, of course, there's a lot of homosexuals, and I work with a lot of them, wonderful people and all. When it comes to what they do, there's a fine line, and I can't accept it because I love them. Okay? I hope that answered your question. Abuna, please correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, a couple of more questions. How to deal with a teacher, professor? Very good question. Very relevant. How to deal with a professor or a teacher who is antagonistic against Christians. And one time, one youth came to me and said, professor asked me, and this paper is very important. It's and this paper was on biology. So she decided to choose this subject. Creationism versus evolution, the case for a creator. So the professor, before he even discusses anything with her, he looked at the title and he said, if you want to write this paper, you're guaranteed to get an F. Flat. If you want to write on creationism and that God exists, you'll get an F, because the professor, of course, was an atheist. So what do? Here's my suggestion to you. My suggestion is this. As a student who's in a class with a professor who's very anti-Christian, did you guys watch the movie God Is Not Dead? Yes, you watched it, David? Did you like it? You liked it, huh? Good movie. My person like God Is Not Dead 1 was my favorite one. Anyways, it's the same scenario. Here's what I would do, and what I advise the students to do. I would go to the professor and say this. Dear Professor so-and-so, first of all, you want to acknowledge who he is and who you are to him. You want to acknowledge that you are learning from him. Acknowledge that with respect. You are our teacher. You are our professor. We're here to learn from you, and we appreciate every bit of information and knowledge, piece of knowledge that you are giving us. We are grateful for that. But I have a question, and since you are our professor, I would like to get your perspective with all humility. Here's my question. I've read some research, or I've heard whatever, I read this article published by this and all of that, that states that the whatever intelligent design or anything that is Christian in your perspective, can you please explain to me your perspective, your position, and let him speak. But before you let him speak, you have to, of course, acknowledge who he is and who you are. Give him the respect that he's due, that respect as a professor, as a teacher. But then as you give him this respect and this honor, ask him very politely to respond to this article that you've written, or that you've read, I mean. And then wait till what he says. But then I don't advise you to go back and forth in a debate and an argument, because that's not going to take you anywhere. At least you wouldn't, thank you. You wouldn't do that in front of everybody else, because then you're guaranteed for sure an F in the class. And of course you do it with wisdom and with love, and you'll be able to speak with these professors. It's very sad to hear that that's their agenda. Anyways, I have a lot of other questions, بس أنا مش عاوز أطول عليكم. It's almost 10 o'clock. This clock is from San Francisco. I like it. مش كده? It is. I feel home. So it's almost 10 o'clock, but do you know the expression القعدة معاك حلوة? You know what that means? I can sit with you for a long time, but I think you guys are exhausted, and we're all exhausted. So why don't we continue, God willing, tomorrow? I have a full box of questions. God willing, we'll go over these questions tomorrow, and if you have the energy and the time, we'd love to discuss them with you. It's good? Thank you so very much for your time, your attention. This was enjoyable for me and a learning experience for me. God willing, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you again.
Thank you, George. بعد ما ابونا هيجي معانا ويقول لنا اور فاذر يصلي مع بعض درينك وشويه سناكس وحاجات ديزرت كده. وثانك يو فور كل جمله. كنيسه ايه اللي معانا معلش؟ لانكستر، العذراء لانكستر ويورك اولسو. مين كمان معانا؟ طب احنا عايزين نشوفكم بكره. مين؟ يورك قال لي. طيب اوكي، اهلا وسهلا، نورتونا وحصلت لنا البركه كلنا. Thank you so much for coming. Tomorrow gonna be in St. Mary in Maryland.
I just wanted to say one quick thing before we conclude here. Thank God for George Basilius, right? Thank God for George Basilius. I think our church is fruitful, right? Our church is fruitful and always produces people like George who defends the faith in basis and not only in just words. And what I wanted to invite you today to think about, that this is, I don't know if you know, but this is a branch of theology that's called apologetics, أو اللاهوت الدفاعي. Like people who defend the faith, people who defend mentally and logically what do we do and how we do it and why we do it. So George is very distinguished in this area, and I'm inviting you actually to guys, to maybe, if this is a subject of interest for you, I think this generation that sits here in front of me are the people that we look for to have that kind of knowledge and that kind of understanding, to take that out and be able to defend the faith, as George said and mentioned throughout his discussion with you guys. But this is really a great topic of interest. I'm pretty sure for your age, for your generation, for the things that you face in every place you go, this is really a very, very interesting topic of discussion and topic of interest and topic of study. I wish we can put everything in videos to make it easy for people. I know that you love to watch videos more than reading, but I'm pretty sure that George has read a lot of books in order to come up with all this knowledge, right, George? And by the way, George wrote a wonderful book. I read that book, Truthless, I think Timeless Truth in Truthless Time. Great book, has a lot of answers to many of your questions. I invite you to just check it out, read it. Beautiful book. I personally read it all, and it's a great book. And we know that there is a lot of apologists in other branches of Christianity, but in the Coptic Church we probably have a few.
Just like George is probably the only person who really takes this to the next level. So it would be great to see few of you taking that also to the next level and grow in that branch. And maybe I'm pretty sure George would be happy to support any initiative that few of you would like to start and think about, and maybe ask him for resources and start digging deep. God bless you, George. Thank you very much for your time. By the way, George came from the airport directly to here, so he's worn out already. He needs some sleep. تفضلوا نصلي. Amen, amen, amen. Your death, O Lord, we proclaim your resurrection and ascension into the heavens. Confess, we praise you, we bless you, we thank you, Lord, and we entreat you, our God. Through the intercessions and prayers of your mother, Saint Mary, Saint Paul, Saint Peter, and all the saints who pleased you from the beginning, please, Lord, to bless us now and listen to us when we pray thankfully, saying, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. In Christ Jesus our Lord, for thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Now the love of God the Father, the grace of his only begotten Son, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the communion and the gift of the Holy Spirit be with you all. Go in the peace of the Lord with you all. Amen. على ما لكم وانتم مروحين وتوصلوا بالسلام.
Okay. Thank you, Abuna. Thank you for your love and kindness. Please keep me in prayer.